I can't afford a domino joiner. Isn't there something else I can do? Fortunately for you and I, yes, there are. There are a number of things we can do to join our wood together without having to spend all that money for an expensive domino joiner. Probably the simplest and most long-standing method of replacing dominoes is with dowel pins. Dowel pins have been in use for hundreds of years. Back before they used hardware for building furniture, they essentially put together with pegs, which was basically the same thing. So as with any of these methods we're going to look at, and even with dominoes, alignment is key. So we need to start out by marking our boards where we want to put our connectors, in this case the dowels, and for this we need a jig. Now the big advantage here is that buying this little jig is a whole lot cheaper than buying a domino machine. Okay, you can buy machines that will cut dowels for you that are similar in appearance to a domino machine, but much cheaper. But we're going to go the simple route here, and that's using a drill and a jig. These jigs are like $35. Okay, so it's not a major investment. So we always want to make sure we work off the same face whenever we're using any of these. And really when you're using dominoes, you got to do that too. You got to work off the same face so you know for sure how you're locating. And we'll go ahead and put some holes in. Making sure that we properly align the jig with our markings on every step, because just a 1/64 of an inch off is going to give us trouble. Okay, so there's the first board with 2 holes in it. We'll do the same thing off the other. Again, I'm working off the same face, making sure I get my alignment. Okay, so now we've got our holes drilled. We align our faces, put in our dowel pins, and probably a couple taps with the mallet to drive it home. And there we go. So there's this. Is this as good as dominoes? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for alignment, it's as good. If you're looking for strength, no, it's not. That little 1/4 inch dowel rod is not as strong as a domino. It's as thick, but it's not as wide. Now, you could put a bunch of these in and you would have the strength that you have with a domino. But in most cases, what people are looking for is alignment, not strength. And for alignment, yeah, this works. The next method I want to talk about is biscuit joining. Now, biscuit joining predates dominoes. Actually, for a couple of decades, this was the joining method, kind of like dominoes have become the joining method. Biscuits are kind of football shaped. They are thinner than a domino, but they give us the same idea of positive location. Now, they don't do it quite as well as a domino because they don't fit as snugly, okay? You cut a slot in the edge of your board with a biscuit cutter, which looks very much like a domino cutter, except for it has a circular blade, kind of like a small circular saw blade. The blade is the exact thickness of the domino, so that it'll fit in there fairly snugly. Again, not as snugly as a domino, but pretty good. Now, we actually cut a slot that is longer than the blade, okay? And this is kind of an unusual thing here. But what we're doing is we're trying to get our positive location this way, not so much this way. So we can assemble it and then adjust it slightly. And I'll be cutting the slots a little bit too long. Now, I don't have a biscuit cutter, just like I don't have a domino cutter, because I never felt I needed one. However, you can buy a bit for the router, which will do the exact same thing. And I've got a bit installed in my router table that's just for this, and that's what we're going to use. And rather than installing it exactly a 1/4 of an inch up, like you would think, say if you're doing tongue and groove, it's actually set in there at 5/16 because this isn't a 1/4 of an inch thick. So we'll go ahead and cut our slots on there, and then we'll assemble it and adjust the position. Okay, so here's my biscuit cutting bit set into my router table. I've gone ahead and put the fence in line with the bearing. I could do it otherwise without that, but what I'm trying to do is get some consistency, and we'll go ahead and make our cut. Now, that 5/16 put this pretty much at halfway up the height, but that isn't as critical as making sure it's the same cut on both pieces. I could be a 1/4 inch, I could even be an 1/8 of an inch from an edge, and as long as they're both the same, it's going to do the job. Okay, so here's our 2 pieces of wood after we've slotted them for our biscuits. And I've got a couple of number 10 biscuits here. And I can just set them into one side. As you can see, they're not a real tight fit, okay? This is the one drawback here. But I still get that positive location that I'm looking for. And I can adjust it back and forth as necessary. You know, I've got about a 3/8 of an inch of play in there. And that's really dependent totally on how I cut it, okay? So, but nevertheless, I've got a good way of locating my parts, putting them together. Is it as good as Domino's? No, it's not as good as Domino's. If I had a choice between biscuits and dowels, I pick the dowels. But there's a lot of people that like biscuits, and biscuits have been around for a long time. And if you're looking for something fast and easy, this is actually easier than working with dowels. So that's the benefit. You could glue up an edge glued tabletop or top for a dresser or something like that. Using these, you get good alignment. You're always going to have to finish that surface anyway after gluing and doing a little bit of planing. So it's not really an issue that it's not absolutely perfect. It really doesn't make sense to talk about replacements for dominoes without talking about mortise and tenon, because in reality, what a domino is a replacement for mortise and tenon. Now, we've used it in other ways, but the predominant idea came from replacing the mortise and tenon, because a lot of people struggle with doing mortise and tenons. Now, you just saw me cut the tenon on my table saw using a 10-inch jig, and this is really rather simple. Anyone's got a table saw can make that jig. It straddles your fence and holds your piece so you can get your cuts. And so I've made the tenon. Now we get to the more challenging part, which is cutting the mortise. So I'm going to do this the simplest way possible. Now, there are other things you can do. You can buy adapters for your drill press to make it into a square chisel or a hollow chisel mortiser. You can buy a hollow chisel mortiser. You can do it just with chisels. I'm going to drill holes and I'm going to square it out with chisels. So I'm doing 1/4 inch holes to match my 1/4 inch tenon here. And I'll guarantee you I'm not going to get them perfect. But I am going to give myself something to start with. By hogging out a bunch of material with the drill, I make the whole idea of cutting out the mortise much easier. You kind of want to sneak up on your lines on this when you do this. To avoid making it too big. Now, I have a horrible tendency to make my mortises too big. See if I can avoid that this time. And of course, the other thing is we want to get deep enough. Okay. And there's our mortise and tenon. Looks like I gotta trim a little more off this edge to make it fit properly. I mentioned that I have a horrible tendency to get my mortises a little bit loose, and I did in this case as well. What do you do if that happens? It's actually fairly simple. All you need to do is put a shim in here out of veneer when you glue it together to tighten the joint up. Glue it all together and you've got it set. A moment ago, I said that the domino replaces the mortise and tenon, and we could replace the the domino with a mortise and tenon. Now, another name for domino joinery, a little more correct name, I guess we could say, is loose tenon joinery. And what that means is that the tenon is not attached to either piece of wood. You actually have a floating tenon, okay? To do that, you need two mortises. And really what the domino cutter does is cut two mortises for us. So I have the piece that we just cut with the mortise in it, and I have another piece with a mortise in it, and I've got a homemade domino or loose tenon. So I can literally put this all together using the homemade domino. And that is the exact same thing, maybe not quite as neat, but the exact same thing as domino joinery, or the same thing as my mortise and tenon I had a minute ago. The only real difference is that I have a double-ended tenon that's going into two mortises. Strength-wise, it's basically equal. Alignment-wise, it's basically equal. Now, it is a little trickier in that you have to align two mortises with each other, but if you can do one mortise, you can do two. Another very useful method that's been around for centuries, literally, is the tongue and groove. And here I've got a couple boards I've cut for tongue and groove. These were done on the router table, and you need a special pair of bits for it. This is a tongue and groove pair of bits. And essentially they're opposites of each other. So that one cuts the tongue and the other cuts the groove, and they fit snugly together. And that's what I've done with these two boards. And as you can see, they interlock very nicely. Now, actually my set of bits is a little sloppy. I've got a little bit of play in there. I would prefer one that's tight enough that I've got to use my mallet to pound it together. But this particular set of bits is a low dollar set of bits, okay? Nevertheless, it's a great way of putting things together. Tongue and groove is a great assembly technique. Again, if you're trying to do that flat surface, this not only gives you the positive location, but it does a lot to add strength, okay? Now keep in mind that the tongue here is long grain, so this will break if you put enough pressure on it. Of course, by the time you glue it together, you've got that tongue and the groove together, this now becomes at the joint a 3/4 inch thick piece of wood. And if it's going to break, it's probably not going to break in the joint. It's going to probably break right next to the joint. So it's a good method. It's simple. It's easy. Doesn't require a huge investment because you basically just have to buy the bits and use them with either your handheld router or a router table, and you can make tongue and groove. And this is, rather than spending $1,000 plus for a biscuit joiner, this is going to do the job for you too. Now, are there places you can't use this? Well, if you're trying to do say a waterfall live edge table and you want the biscuits to align that corner joint for you, you're not going to get that out of a tongue and groove, okay? It is somewhat limited in what you can do, but then again, every method of joinery is limited. You got to find the place that it's going to do the job that you want. If you've got the bits to do tongue and groove, it also opens the door to doing splines. Now, let me clarify something here. There's an awful lot of people that use splines on miter joints, okay? But that's actually technically a key spline. A real spline or a full spline is usually hidden inside the wood. It's not visible from the outside, and it runs full length. It's not just a short piece. And so that's what we're doing here. So what I've got, these are the same two boards that I had done for my tongue and groove, and I'm just taking the groove side. So I would be using the groove bit to make that cut, and I would not be using the other one, okay, the tongue one. So the spline itself is just a piece of wood that fits in that slot. This is just literally some leftover pieces from something I had resawn. The one key thing is that you need the grain perpendicular to the joint. I see all the time where people are putting key splines in and they're putting in with the grain parallel to the cut line, okay, the miter itself. That doesn't work. It doesn't add any strength. You've got to have the grain perpendicular so that it does add strength. So what we're going to do is put these in here, and I'm essentially going to fill the whole thing. Now these are actually a little bit small for this slot. I just grabbed what I had available. But I would glue these in to one side, and then glue them into the other side. And in doing so, I've actually made a very, very strong joint. It's great for very positive location as far as height-wise, so you get a flush surface, and it's very strong. So this does add quite a bit of strength to your joint, even though the glue really is giving you a lot of strength as it is. But this is a good alternative. It's easy to do, and you really don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, if you're buying a tongue and groove set anyway, then you've got what you need to be able to do this joint.